Sometimes the people the world throws away are the ones God writes the biggest stories for. This is the story of a man who lost everything and a woman who gave him a reason to breathe again. Welcome to part one of Lemon Man and Sunrise Bites, a redemption story. Written by me, Claudia Reid, and built from the broken pieces of real lives, real pain, real grace. Let this be like more than a book. Let it be a mirror, a refuge, a reckoning. You're not here by accident. Not at all. Chapter 1. The gate clanged behind him like a warning. Cameron DeMarco didn't flinch. 10 years of noise, concrete, and betrayal had burned the nerves out of him. He stepped out of Clinton Correctional with nothing but a gray t-shirt tight across his wide back, jeans hanging off his lean hips, and a pair of old boots he didn't remember owning. No bag, no smile, no waiting. Just Glenn's beat-up Ford idling at the edge of the parking lot. Cam walked like he weighed more than flesh, like he carried steel in his spine and secrets in his bones. Kind of man who'd kill without blinking and stay up all night afterward, staring at the wall, wondering why the blood didn't wash off his hands. He slid into the passenger seat without a word, and Glenn offered none either. Just silence and Nassau County traffic, cross town in a warm corner of Lake Success. Lila Mahan flipped the closed sign on the door of Sunrise Bites and took a long breath. The scent of syrup, turkey sausage, and fresh biscuits still danced in the air. Her feet ached and her back was screaming, but her heart still open. Wide open. She wiped down the front counter with slow, thoughtful strokes, humming a song her mother used to sing. Her curls bounced as she moved, honey-colored, coiled at the ends. Delilah snored on her pink bed under the pastry case, twitching now and then like she was chasing a burglar in her dreams. Lila smiled and whispered, "Thank you, Yahuwah. Another day without folding." Because folding would have been easy. Giving up, even easier. But she didn't fold. Not when her ex left. Not when the man before him lied. Not when she found out the business she inherited was tied to something dark no one wanted to speak on. The court across the street, the cops who came in daily, even the DA himself, they all respected her. She didn't ask for trouble. She asked for peace, a simple life, and maybe someday love, but not today. She sighed, flicked off the lights, and climbed the stairs to her little apartment above the shop, unaware that tomorrow would bring a new employee, one she didn't ask for, and one who would shift everything. This is the next morning. The next morning. "You gotta be kidding me," Cam muttered, jaw tight, staring up at the Sunrise Bite sign. "Parole officer says you're placed here. You got a problem? You take it up with them," Glenn said, lighting a cigarette. "Just be glad it ain't another hallway house with roaches." Cam's jaw ticked. Dishwashing across the fucking courthouse? "So you think they put you here by accident?" Glenn said. Cam didn't answer. He adjusted the collar of his long-sleeve Henley, trying to hide the ink that still peeked through under his cuffs. His big muscles in his back bunched beneath the fabric as he stepped toward the door. Inside, he could already smell cinnamon and something soft, almost floral. He opened the door. Ding! And that was the moment Lila turned and time stopped. She didn't know him. She didn't know why her chest fluttered like it did, or why her first thought was those eyes. He was taller than she imagined, broader, more raw, like a storm stuffed inside a man's skin. His jaw was square and shadowed with silver stubble. His hair was low but thick, streaked with salt and sweat. He didn't smile, didn't blink, just looked at her like she was a puzzle he didn't want to solve. You must be, she hesitated, wiping her hands on her apron. Cam, he said simply. I'm Lila. Welcome to... He said, I ain't here for welcome. Oh, well. Her lips parted. Breath caught. But she held her ground. Well, that's a shame. I give good ones. He almost smirked. Almost. From under the counter, Delilah the dog lifted her head. And she said, in her dog brain, something ain't right. New man smells like soap and lemons and guns. He didn't pet me. Red flag. I'm watching you, big guy. Well, back in the kitchen, Lila handed Cam a pair of gloves. You'll be on dishes, prep, and trash duty. Breaks are at noon. You hungry? He didn't answer. Just took the gloves and walked to the sink. She stared after him. Yahuwah help me. He's trouble. Big, beautiful, broken trouble. And something in her bones whispered, he didn't just come here to work. He came here to finish something. Chapter 2, The Cut That Bled Truth. Few days were the same. Actually, the first few days were the same. Cam came in before sunrise. Didn't speak unless spoken to. Didn't eat unless Lila made him. Washed dishes like he was scrubbing sin off his skin. And Lila, she couldn't stop watching him. How his muscles tensed every time a cop walked in. How he refused to turn his back to the door. How his jaw flexed when she laughed too long with Officer Palmer or brushed Captain Telane's arm while refilling his coffee. Cam didn't say anything, but oh, he was watching too. Wednesday morning was busy. Extra bacon, extra caffeine, extra chaos. Lila was flying between tables trying to keep up when a crash came from the back kitchen. She dropped her pitcher and bolted right to the back. Cam stood frozen at the prep table, a thin stream of blood running down his forearm. The knife he'd been using to slice tomatoes had slipped. He didn't flinch, didn't curse, just stared at the crimson trail like it was an old friend he hadn't seen in a while. Cam, Lila gasped. Running to him. I'm fine. You're not fine, she snapped, grabbing a clean towel. She reached for his arm and he pulled away. I said I'm fine. And she said, I said, let me help you. She fired back, but soft but firm. His breath caught. Not because of the cut, but because of her voice. It was the first time she'd spoken to him like he was a man and not a project. He let her take his arm. And for the first time since prison, he felt heat that wasn't from rage or pain. She pressed the towel to his skin gently, her hands warm and steady, the blood soaked through, bright and living. His forearm flexed under her touch. Hard muscle, veins twitching, her fingers brushed along a scar near his wrist. Old? She asked. He nodded. Rikers. She paused. Then quietly, that one healed. So, will this? Cam looked down at her. Close now, too close. She had cinnamon on her neck, cocoa butter on her hands. Her eyes were full of something dangerous. Care, not pity, not fear, care. He wasn't ready for that, but his body betrayed him. His pants tightened, his breathing deepened. He leaned in, just slightly, just enough, and she felt it. The shift, the heat. She looked up, lips parted, her pulse throbbing in her neck, and then she stepped back. "I'll get the first aid kit," she whispered, voice trembling. He watched her walk away, watched the sway of her hips, the softness of her body, the small tremble in her fingers. And he felt it again, that terrible, beautiful pull. Now, this is what Cam wrote in his diary. He said, "I forgot what soft hands felt like. She didn't flinch, she didn't judge, just bled with me. She smelled like the part of life I lost. I don't want her, but I do. She makes me feel, and feeling got me 10 years last time." Lila wrote in her journal, "He was hard under my hands." Not just his body, his soul. But for 1 second, he looked vulnerable, like a man never had someone care. I know I should be scared, but what frightens me more is how much I want to touch that pain again. And Delilah the dog said in her little journal, her little puppy journal, "He got hurt. She ran. I barked. Nobody listened. He smelled different today, like blood and heat. If he makes her cry, I'll eat one of his boots. That man is trouble with a capital treat." Later that night, Cam stood alone in the alley behind the shop, shirtless, bandaged, smoking a cigarette with the match still burning in his fingers. He didn't know what scared him more. He didn't know how to stop this feeling, that he might want Lila, or that someone was watching them both. A black car with tinted windows rolled by slow. Cam turned, eyes narrowing. He crushed a cigarette under his heel. "Come on, then," he muttered to the night. "I ain't scared to bleed again." Chapter 3, Rumors and Real Eyes. Next morning, Lila hummed a soft worship melody as she chopped fruit in the kitchen, trying to shake the image of Cam's body from her mind. But it clung to her like steam, the way his muscles flexed, the way he breathed deepened when she touched him. That hard, caged look in his eyes when their skin met. He didn't look at her like a man being held. He looked at her like a man being claimed. And she didn't know what scared her more, how much she liked it, or how much she wanted more. Outside in the shop, the precinct boys rolled in heavy that morning. Officer Palmer, Captain Tulane, 2 young DA interns from across the street, coffee orders, bacon sandwiches, and eyes all over Lila as she worked the counter like she always did, smiling, warm, glowing. Cam was quiet in the back, organizing deliveries, pretending he wasn't listening to every word. But he heard them. "Yo, she single?" Another one said, "She been single. You ain't never noticed how she hugs Tulane?" "Shit, I risk a misconduct for one night. She probably lonely as hell. I bet she liked the rough ones." He stepped out from the kitchen. Now this is Cam stepping out from the kitchen now. Not fast, not loud, just enough for them to feel him. Muscles tight, eyes sharp, that low-cut salt and pepper beard looking criminally fine. He walked to the front counter and stood beside Lila, not saying a word, just grabbing cups and refilling coffee. The room got quiet. The Officer Palmer leaned in to Lila and said real slow, "That's your new guard dog?" Lila laughed, a nervous, sweet little laugh, and touched Palmer's shoulder playfully. "Nah, he just don't like foolishness." Cam's jaw ticked. She didn't notice, or maybe she did. But the way Palmer smiled at her, the way her hand lingered on his shoulder, Cam saw red. That dude was mad as hell. That afternoon, Lila was checking receipts in the back office when the shop bell dinged. Ding! She called out, "Be right with you." Then a voice she hadn't heard in years floated through the air. Smooth, expensive, hateful. "Well, this place hasn't changed at all. Still smells like sugar and desperation." Lila rose, then stood. Joanne Baylor, the mayor's wife, walked in like she owned the ground under her heels. Hi, my name is Claudia Reid, the author of this book. Part 2 will be up soon. You're going to love this shit. Believe me. Believe me. Amazon didn't want to, Didn't want to publish it because it's too hot, gritty. There's something that they didn't know what to do with the story, so I'm telling it for you. You're going to love this shit, trust me. This is free audio. And you're going to get part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5. I do 15 minutes because I don't want to have y'all sleeping on me. But this book is about to kick up. So thank you so much for watching this, and you have a great day. Goodbye.